Libya's capital city as strongman Khalifa Haftar continues his advance. Dozens have been killed in clashes in and around Tripoli. Haftar's forces have also claimed responsibility for an airstrike that has forced the city's only airport to close. Tripoli is controlled by the UN-backed Prime Minister, and this violence comes just a week ahead of an international summit in Tripoli on Libya's future. The country's been racked by instability and violence since NATO forces helped to oust long-serving leader Muammar Gaddafi back in 2011. Well, for more on that, I'm joined by Ludovico Carlino. He's a senior analyst for the Middle East and North Africa at IHS Markit. Thank you for being with us. What is Haftar trying to do? Is he trying to overthrow the government in Tripoli and take control of the whole country?
Hello, good evening. Yes, I think that Haftar's aim was to increase his political leverage ahead of the national conference due to take place next week. But probably he underestimated the cohesion of the militias in Tripoli supporting the GNA, and probably also overestimated the strength of the LNA, the militia he's leading. But Haftar has never hidden his intention to take Tripoli. So I think that when he ordered this offensive, he had actually this in mind.
Wasn't this inevitable, given that Libya has been so divided and basically lawless since the fall of Gaddafi several years ago?
Was probably inevitable because the international community didn't come up with a strong roadmap on how to solve the division and the splitting governance between the East and the West. And also, all the indicators that were suggesting that the Haftar was actually moving into Tripolitania were already in place. This is just the continuation of an offensive that the LNA has launched since January, when the militia took over most of the southern Fezzan region.
How will this affect that international conference on Libya's future that's due to take place next week?
I'm skeptical that this conference can take place now, but the overall situation in Libya is putting the UN in a very complicated position, because I doubt that the GNA can have any trust now in Haftar in any potential talks that will take place in the future.
So what does this mean for the long-term future of Libya then? Can these two leaders come to some sort of power-sharing agreement? Will there be a compromise, or will there be some kind of division?
I think that this offensive and the escalation that we are seeing in Libya is an indication that the UN plan is basically collapsing. So my opinion is that the UN needs to come up with a new idea. In terms of risk for Libya, this means that there will be probably a prolonged confrontation between the LNA and the GNA around Tripoli, because the two militia, they don't have the necessary strength to win each other. So it's going to be a very, very delicate impasse.
For all his faults, which were many, Muammar Gaddafi did manage to keep the country together. Khalifa Haftar was part of that regime. Is he someone who could bring the country together?
This is the idea of some, countries, and also within the international community, that a strong man can rule Libya and bring the East and the West together. But this has to come probably with the idea that a full democracy is not possible in Libya, and that an answer should be also be formulated for the Libyan population that has been paying the price for this instability for such a long time.
Ludovico Carlino, thank you very much.